Hey everybody, Tim here with today's episode of Stranger Things, Season 3, Episode 5, The Flayed. So this is kind of still following that same trajectory where everything's kind of building up and we start to see more of the groups kind of start to come together. Because, I mean, we only got 3 more episodes after this, so this is starting to get to that big climax of, like, what's going on with the Flay monster and stuff like that. So the elevator team is Dustin, Robin, Steve, and Erica are stuck in the elevator at this point. Joyce and Hopper do find the Russians, and Hopper gets his rematch with the soldier, but they actually end up kidnapping the younger scientist guy that we saw from the very first episode. So that's kind of interesting that they finally kind of gone back around to that. And I mean, at that point, like, I don't know, I want to see more of that backstory on how did he go from Russia to where they're at. Like, I want more of that. Nancy calls Jonathan looking for Will, asking if he's safe or not, because she knows that this is somehow connected to the Upside Down. And Jonathan's just like, why wouldn't he be safe? And then now you can kind of tell that they're coming together. And sure enough, Nancy and Jonathan team up with all of the other kids. So now we're seeing these groups come together. And I guarantee you, probably the next episode, Joyce and Hopper will probably join in. They go to Heather's house and there's chemicals everywhere, like Comet and stuff like that. And they've clearly been eating them. And they're like, Will didn't eat chemicals when he was possessed. So what's going on? This is clearly a new type of monster that's having them do this. And even if Will did eat the chemicals, Will was still here. He was just being possessed. These are clearly not human. There's something going on here. Hopper and Joyce go see Murray, which was the conspiracy theorist from the last season, and that was kind of great to see his character again, and go fucking figure that he speaks Russian, so he can kind of talk to the hostage scientist guy. Which some of those scenes were great, where they're like at the gas station and Hopper steals the guy's car. The elevator team finally gets out by Steve uses the little green glass goo and it just shatters it and turns basically into acid. And it's like, what was in that? It's like the ooze or something. Like, it was kind of really awkward and weird. And it's like this giant city, which at this point, like, I can have the suspension of disbelief for a lot, especially with this show. Upside Down, Demogorgons, all sorts of stuff like that. An underground Russian city beneath the mall, like, that's a little bit much for me. Like, I just can't really do that. So Steve ends up fighting one of the Russian soldiers, and he actually wins a fight. And Dustin's like, "Good job! You got your ass kicked by Jonathan. You got your ass kicked. Who did it last? By Billy last season. Like, good job! You finally won a fight. Like, proud of you, boy." And so that was kind of fun. We see that they're trying to reopen that tunnel. Like in the last season, it's when Hopper and Eleven descended down that mine shaft. The Russians are basically trying to reopen it. So you can kind of see the monster like trying to reach through it. Like I said last season, it almost looks like a heartbeat. It's kind of weird. Heather's dad, so Nancy and Jonathan's boss, or former boss, shows up at the hotel and they like hit him in the head. And then the other news guy shows up and he has the bruise and he's like, that hurt. So all of these guys can kind of feel each other's pain and stuff. Mrs. Driscoll goes missing, and then it's basically just Jonathan and Nancy trying to beat up Heather's dad and the other coworker. They do kind of like defeat them. Like, it looks like they actually kill them, and then they like melt, kind of the upside or the inside out rat type things, and fuse together, and you're like, oh, this shit is getting too real. Like, it's very reminiscent of The Thing, like John Carpenter's The Thing, which I love. That's in my top 10 favorite movies. But and then of course that's where it ends. It's that great cliffhanger to drag you into the next episode. And overall, I really enjoyed it. Like, I thought it was really good, and it's finally picking up pace with just 3 more episodes to go. So for those who have seen it, what did you guys think about this episode? Go ahead, let me know in the comments below, and I will see you guys next time for, oh god, it's Latin, E pluribus unum.